yes, I do. How about you? God bless each and every one of you on this rainy day here in Baltimore City. City of charm, getting brighter every day. More charm coming about. Had a rough weekend, but we're here and we're thankful for another day to see the sunrise and to walk up and wake up out that bed and wash it up, hopefully, and come out into the world and come as a conqueror, come as a loving agent to spread sunshine and hope into the lives of our fellow human beings. You are listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People on WOLB 1010 Baltimore, and you are welcome here. We're excited about it. We've got a great show planned for you today, and as usual, I am going to begin by introducing my co-anchors. Say good morning, Leo Burrows Jr. How are you?
Good morning, everybody, and praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition for justice, decency, and fair play.
Yes, and decency, boy. That's a word we don't hear very often. To be decent, that's another word. We're going to talk about that one day. And please also welcome Mr. James C. Morant. How are you today, Jimmy?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Baltimore.
Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. And he doesn't get in the studio with us very often, but we're always happy that he's with us. Please welcome Mr. Richard Terry. How are you, Richard?
I'm doing reasonably well, Patrick, and good morning to everybody.
Good morning to you. And let me see, is Jason. Jason had to go. Jason Rodriguez is our producer and also our co-anchor. He'll be right back. But for all of you who are listening or would like to listen or watch us, you can go to Facebook, Patrick Henderson's Meet the People, and you can tune in live and you can give us your commentary and we can talk back to you if you can't get in through the phones. And I'm going to give the number out right from the jump today. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. And you're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Well, gentlemen, how are you? Everybody's well, huh?
Amen. Amen. We woke up this morning.
Started on
with our minds stayed on freedom.
Yes, sir.
You know that song?
Yes, sir. You know I know that song.
Yes, Lord. You go ahead and sing it.
We got a special guest coming in, and I would like to introduce him. Come right in, sir. Have a seat right there. I have met recently a young man who has just really, really not only impressed me, but he has just basically shown me what it means to be black and empowered by your convictions and made successful by your experiences and your education. But the one thing that I'm appreciating about this brother is his big heart. And before I do that, I'm going to, we like to start every show off with a prayer. So everybody, if you're near your radio and you're not driving your car, and you're somewhere where you can touch your radio, if you have your phone, and you're going to close your eyes with me, and we're going to listen and we're going to pray together. Oh God, our Father, Lord, we bless you for this beautiful day, Lord. We know it's raining, oh Lord, and we need the rain because it nourishes the plants and it nourishes us, Lord, because it comes and it washes away and it waters things and it makes them grow. We thank you for another opportunity to get up and to let our light shine, that light that is within us, that light that you gave us. Oh God, make this a day of forgiveness. Oh God, make this a day of even forgiving ourselves. Oh Lord, let us be who you would want us to be, not because of some religion, just because we know what's the difference between right and wrong. We're in a state of flux here in the city, oh God, but we believe you're working out. We're seeing signs. We're seeing omens of things changing. Lord, bring us together in a unifying effort to become one people, oh God. Black first, race first, oh God. We must understand this principle lest we fail, lest we fall. We thank you for this time together, oh God. I pray in thy Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, I was getting ready to tell you all about my special guest here. He has an organization that is just formidable and just so wonderful because it what it's doing in the community. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kamos Muhammad. How are you, sir?
Greetings to you, brother. Greetings to the family. Greetings to my
Praise the Lord.
brother. That introduction was way above me. But I all praise is due to the Most High God and the ancestors. I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your show this day.
Well, we're thankful to have you here. You know, I'm a sociology major, and I didn't know until I took sociology that you can't give yourself prestige. Other people give you prestige. They hold you up. They see you. They acknowledge you and acknowledge your gifts, acknowledge your treatment. And so they give you prestige. So I give you that because I am just, man, you're rare. You know, you have a thriving business. Here's a business that many of you have heard about. Let's tell them about Freedom for Freedom Paper.
Yes, sir. So Freedom Paper Company, we believe, is something within itself that should be applauded by our community.
Yes.
We know that within the black community, and this is true, brother, when we did our research before the onset of Freedom Paper Company, we were looking at the condition of our people economically. And it's far worse than we can imagine.
Yes.
That is to say that wherever we go in the world, not just here in America, but anywhere in the world, even where we have nation states like Jamaica or Nigeria or Ghana, etc., we are not in control of our economic lives. We don't produce much. In our nation states where the resources exist, we're not necessarily in control of those resources. We don't control the distribution channels and the distribution lines. We're in a very, very poor condition, not just in terms of physical capital or resources, but our inability to really control our lives. Yes. And so Freedom Paper Company comes as a development and a thinking into this reality, and us knowing that we must put ourselves in a position, if not to control industry, certainly to be heavy influencers in industry.
Yes.
We have to begin to do that. And so we are what we call a light manufacturer of paper products. Many people have heard about the Freedom brand bathroom tissue. And then we are distributors of a number of other products. There are 5 major categories, and we do this both residentially and commercially, which are paper, janitorial cleaning supplies. That includes your trash can liners and everything else, some hardware, mops, brooms, buckets, etc. Food service materials. These are everything that restaurants, cafeterias, school systems might use. Office supply. File folders, copy paper, ink pens, etc. And then a slew of personal care products. And we're very proud about the personal care products, Brother Patrick and family, because we are principled. We're not just in business simply to make money. We say we're not a capitalist-based company, and that's important. Many of us who are entrepreneurs, we act like capitalists, and I'm going to say today that if you are of African descent, you cannot or should not be a capitalist. We have to understand the history of capitalism, and so we say we are a communalist company, right? Our principal reality is not just to make money, but to make money and then utilize the money for the improvement and betterment of our community at large. And so one of the things that we've begun to do about two years ago is to collaborate with other black manufacturers. See, what's going on is there are a lot of black-owned companies that are producing things today, but we're small compared to the mainstream companies, right? And of course, we know statistically that we as a people don't support our own. In fact, only 2 to 3% of our dollars are circulate within our own businesses.
And you know, you used a word, and we've been having this debate, and for many of you who would like to know more, I would like to invite you on Thursdays to tune in to, I call it a Bible study, because we're studying the life and times of Marcus Garvey and how it's relative to a communalist. You know, they used to have a saying in the church, in my church, you know, it was Pentecostal, you know, wasn't nobody saved but us. And they had a saying that
only saved.
that we're in the world, but not of the world. So how is it possible to be a communalist without being a capitalist?
Well, again, when we study these particular ideologies and we get down to the root understanding of it, then we can begin to piece out and eke out really and develop for ourselves our own ideology, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't have to be constrained by other people's thoughts.
Right, agreed.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So let's call it real raw capitalism as it is technically defined in the American system and in the European system of things.
Would you please define it for us?
Yeah,
because
yes,
many
sir.
of our people don't really understand what capitalism
Well,
is.
it's rugged individualism,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is when one small group or entity or persons control the means of production and therefore labor and industry and they're able then to take huge amounts of wealth unto themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and this is really what their purpose to do. Mm-hmm. And so their purpose is who can be the richest, who can have the most. They're not worried about the general public or the population. Historically, we know it's true that they will destroy the planet to get wealth. And so the difference would be then those of us who then and you know, brother, when we talk about our spiritual realities, right? By whatever name we might call them, I would say that we as African people are close to nature, right? So we are a people who care about life. That's our nature. We care about life. We're not those who seek to destroy the planet naturally, even to destroy each other. We've been turned, and so we're acting out of behaviors that are not our natural selves. But that's not who we are. And so, as a communalist, what I have to do principally is use my wealth to create improvement and betterment for other people. In other words, I have to share my blessings, and I'm so happy to be able to do that.
I you know, this conversation is going to get deep, and if you all tune in on Thursdays, you will realize how deep it's going to get. Is it not possible for all Americans to gain vast wealth? And if it's possible for everyone, then why would it be such an anti-thing? Is it because of what they do with it? And when you say a few people gain all the wealth, but everybody in America has the opportunity, if they do what they need to do and are committed and collect the resources to do it, it's possible for everyone. So I'm a bit still not really clear.
Well, we might say it's possible, but you know, when we study the works of some of our great ancestors, in particular, one of my favorites, the great Dr. Amos Wilson, he helps to open up our eyes into the reality of the systems that are in place that make it not necessarily so possible. And then we as a people are working from a disadvantaged standpoint, not necessarily just because the system itself is against us, but because we have not decided to do something for ourselves that would give us the power to fight those forces that have been built up against us.
We haven't done it in mass numbers, but when you think of Kathy Hughes, who started this session, this studio, this business, the Radio 1, TV 1, pregnant at 16, her mother kicked her out of the house. And look at her today. She's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So that's the reason I don't want to give them the impression that a capitalist is a bad thing. Like everything, it has its badness. It has its terrible proclivities. In other words, possibilities. And oligarchies are formed. An oligarchy is a few people that control everything. So we know that those are. But I believe that capitalism, let's say social capitalism, okay,
which is what I'm calling
communalism.
Right,
all right,
exactly.
I'm gonna quit arguing on that one. I'm gonna keep going. Leo Burrows, please go right ahead.
Well, from the context historically of Black Wall Street, 1921, and Rosewood, etc., how do we frame this discussion in light of the lack of an even playing field? Not to say that you're wrong, Patrick, but the potential is there. But do we have an even playing field given the kinds of structures and oppression that exist in this society? And again, I play it from Black Wall Street because that was an example of
you're
a tremendous...
absolutely right. But you got to think of what happened when I'm using Miss Hughes as an example. You know, because Miss Hughes does not have a college degree. She doesn't. Her father was one of the first black CPAs in Chicago, Illinois.
But she has a brilliant mind.
But she was also watched her father.
Yeah.
She learned how to do business from her father, going to the offices with him. I could tell you a long story about her life. Her mother passed for white, right, in Omaha, Nebraska. And she was such a brilliant musician that they let her play with the Omaha Symphony. And when they found out she was black, passing, they kicked her out. So you see what I'm saying here? We must understand that our potential and our talents and the things that we develop.
The potential is there.
Is potential is there, and I don't want people to get sort of like locked up on. Well, I'm not a capitalist, but I wrote the word down. Did you coin that phrase, that word, communalist, or is that who do I attribute that to?
I'm gonna take credit for that today.
You gonna take credit
sure
for
I'm not
it?
the first. I'm sure I'm not the
But
first to have said it.
you get what I'm driving at when I talk about being attacked for being a successful capitalist.
Yes, sir.
I'm just saying, in a real context of what has happened to us and how we are sometimes destroyed or our efforts are made to destroy us by virtue of the fact that we are doing right and we're doing well. We have to protect and defend that which we create.
Yes, absolutely, Richard, yes.
Okay, one part of this, and I've been looking at this from another standpoint, when there have been those of us who have tried to get into the mainstream of whatever business, there are those who don't want us to be there to begin with.
Yes.
The case in point that I look at is Bill Cosby. When Cosby announced that he was going to try to buy NBC, they did everything in their power to destroy him, to keep him from getting his hands on that network.
And they were successful.
Yes. And they were very, very successful. Then when Oprah launched her network, it wasn't one of the established ones, so I think they just left her alone. But eventually, she sold it to a bigger, gigantic corporation. So they will allow certain people that they like to get into the game, so to speak. But if they do not like you or do not want you there to begin with, they will let you know that they don't want you there.
Well, and I agree with you, but them letting you know is something our people do us the same way that we do. We don't like you. We don't care what you stand for. And I have some issues with the Pan-Africanists in that they contend that they are the lone deciders of who is allowed to be a Pan-Africanist.
We do that to ourselves,
right?
Because nowadays. You have to, it's now not only political purity, but it's racial purity that becomes the buzzword. And if you do not toe the party line, in no matter what it is, you are no longer part of the group.
Absolutely. All right, let's hold on for a minute. You locked Richard in, and I'm going to go to Black Wolves. Hold on for a minute, Black Wolves. Someone was just getting ready to say something. Was that you, Camus?
Yes, sir, Brother Patrick. And I wanted to add this to the conversation at this point because I think it is of a crucial nature. It is how we have internalized mentally our own reality. The brother on the line talked about how they allow this or they don't allow that, right? I agree with you. We have greatness in and among us, even in the worst of conditions, even with segregation, even with slavery, we still rise to the top. That's our nature. But here's the thing. When the brother talked about Black Wall Street, we could talk about there were 60 black towns. Our people coming out of slavery were able to amass wealth to build townships, etc. Right? When we look at that history, though, we have to ask ourselves, why is it that we can't reduplicate something like that today or not doing it? The answer that I've come up with is we had no choice then. In other words, segregation made it so what we apartheid system that we were still able to produce great things. Now, look at us today. We have brought into this reality somebody else's reality, right? That we have to do things a certain way. But we have examples all around us that show us and indicate us that is not the way towards success. And so when we look at, for example, the Korean community here in Baltimore, right? I don't too much interact with Koreans, but they have a lot of businesses here.
Yes.
They're building communities here. They're in our community. They've grown from our inner city communities. Now they've moved out predominantly into Ellicott City.
That's what they all live,
Koreans
yeah.
are so proud and dominant in terms of them doing for self and being with each other and circulating their wealth that you know them because whether you see their writing, right, their language. So they're not even inviting the public necessarily.
You mean their businesses are written in Korean
they're written in Korean.
Yeah.
See, so
Same thing
they're
California.
not worried about what somebody else is putting over them and determining for them. They're doing something for themselves. We have to get away from being overly concerned with what other people think about us. If we become powerful within ourselves, then we make the determination of how other people deal with us, and not them making determination of how we deal with them.
Some of us seek validation.
Yes. Yes.
And from great on high, from Massa, it validates our credentials, and that's not the truth.
Of the Koreans, they also have political clout. And the reason why they have political clout is that they have money to pass around.
Economics, yes, sir.
That's very...
And that's the crux of the problem. They have money, and they use it to advance their causes.
That's absolutely right. We got on the line a young man, one of our young leaders, upstanding and just doing a fantastic job. And on this past weekend, his group partnered with Freedom Paper leader Kamos Muhammad.
Amen.
And had an incredible day on the corner of Howard and North Avenue. It was spectacular. It was so beautiful. I stood there and just tears flowed down my face because, listen, the Bible says that he calls the seniors because they're wise, but he calls the young because they're strong.
Amen.
Nothing will ever happen until we get our young people involved in who they are, why they are, and what the possibilities are. And I salute you,
Dr.
Messiah Fit and Kamos Muhammad for that great
We also
effort.
want to put our sister Eartha Harris in Project Million More's movement. She was also involved in it, and I'll talk a little bit about how we get to this point later.
Okay.
But I want to make sure that the family knows that this was a full family reality that we had. But I'll let Brother Messiah.
Brother Messiah, welcome. How are you today, sir?
Hey, peace, power, and harmony, all the brothers in the studio.
Amen.
When I say this, I don't say this to be corny or to take away from the greatness of this brother. But when he came on, y'all should have had the Rocky sound. I ain't lying. He's a true champion.
Yes, sir.
Kamos Muhammad is a champion. You understand?
Yes.
Everybody that's in that studio right now is basically partners, great supporters of the Black Wolf Youth Scouts. Everybody played especially, and I thank everybody in that studio. But now we even have an additional supporter, brother, father figure, if you want to call him, leader, champion, and that's that brother Kamos Muhammad.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah, such a part. And anybody that knows the Black Wolves, I mean, it's been long enough. 2016, we've been doing consistent work. So when I say something, hopefully people really take it seriously, because I think we prove for ourselves that we serious about the work we're doing. So when I advocate somebody, they're really worth considering. They're really worth hearing. They're really worth the effort and the time. But the brother, he said he was going to come through. Brother Kamos Muhammad is who I'm talking about, who is also our president of the UNIA division here in Baltimore. He said that day was going to happen. He said we were going to start this youth entrepreneurship program. He said we are going to impact greatly the youth of Baltimore City. And if you were there on Saturday on North and Howard Street, you would have witnessed something that you probably haven't seen maybe since the 60s.
No squiggy boys. They were out there working.
Yes.
You still squeegee. Oh, okay, well, I'm from Texas. Y'all forgive me.
Squeegee.
Even watching Laverne and Curly.
Potato.
It was powerful, man. It was really powerful.
It was.
We had the wolves on every corner. We had flags out there. We had people pulling their cars over, trying to figure out what was going on.
Buying.
Not only that, our youth was uniform.
Yes.
We were uniform.
Yes.
We looked one. We looked unified. We looked like someone to be taken seriously.
Yeah, organized youth. And people responded to it, too. Sometimes they wouldn't even take the toilet tissue. They would just give money. Just give money just because to see young black men doing something positive.
Proudly.
But I'm going to tell you, I got to get going here. But the thing that most impressed me, I followed and I stayed with you all day long. First of all, would you tell us what UNIA stands for those that don't know?
Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League. So it's UNIA-ACL.
And it was formed, it was by whom? Go ahead.
Started by Marcus Mosiah Garvey. The movement goes all the way to the early 1900s, and it came out of basically a brother that came from another country, the great Honorable Marcus Garvey,
Jamaica, yes,
came here to America, realized that the setting of black people in America, which we still can say some of those similarities and those things are still going on today, and form, if not one of the greatest, biggest, fastest, strongest movement for black people in the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over 12 million followers. He had newspapers and go ahead. I'm sorry. I guess happy. If I had my Hammond organ in here, I'd be tuning myself up about right now.
Goodness.
Go ahead, Moses. Go ahead.
Yeah, 1900. That was during the minstrel era. Well, racist songwriters made a song called "Every Race Has a Flag But the Coon." And the coon was talking about us as people of color. And Marcus Garvey combated that. He said, "I got something for that." He made this flag that's red, black, and green. And he said, now they can no longer see that. So the red represents the blood of our ancestors. The black represents the first man and the woman, and the green represents the land that belonged to us. The black also represents melanin, which is infinite, the universe, melanin. But that flag we are carrying today still. That flag was 1920. We still carrying that flag today strong.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and well, hurry up, we got to go. But tell me, what was I was saying that I followed y'all all day, and at the end of the day, brother Muhammad and brother Messiah went and they counted out all of the money. And then they gave the organization money, they gave each organization money, and then they paid every one of those black wolves money, enough money that they could go home and buy little groceries to put in their mama's kitchen. This was the part that touched me. Right on. This is the part that touched me. We got to go. We got a commercial. We got to do. You're listening to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. I'm going to tell y'all all about, I can't hold water. Yeah, we'll be right back. Don't you touch that dial.
This is not the time to get distracted. And this is not the time to go off course. This is not the time to lose your focus. Got a work to do for the Lord. And you cannot afford to lose your way. You come too far from where you started.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe.
Unto you as you believe. Unto you as you believe. You don't believe it, it's not going to happen. Ain't nothing by osmosis. You got to get up off your derrieres. I'm trying to stay safe this morning. Your butt. And get it done. There ain't nothing coming to you.
Hey, Patrick,
yes.
Can I remind everyone, we're now streaming live on all social media platforms, Facebook, Periscope, YouTube. So make sure you check up on us. At Meet the People. Use the hashtag Meet the People, and you'll get to see everyone in their glory this morning in the studio.
And we would like to thank each and every you. From the 1st of May to, I believe it was the 3rd of June, over 5,700 people watched our video on Facebook. So we want to thank you all for sharing it, because we are trying to give you information. You know, information is power, but it is not power if you don't do anything with it. We love your comments. We want to hear what you have to say. But remember, we're seeking solutions, not just the problems. We're not whining. But I wanted to say, I wanted to close out. Leo, if there's a connection here, would you give us the connection?
First, I wanted to invite Brother Muhammad to be at our meeting, Roots of Scouting meeting on Monday coming at 7 o'clock, and we'll talk about it after this is over. Right. We'd like you to be in attendance at our regular monthly meeting at 7 p.m. I see Kwanzaa all over the place here. I see the 7 principles in operation, particularly as relating to Uchima, the collective work and responsibility, and Ujamaa, the cooperative economics, that is clearly manifest by what you guys are doing, and of course by the great leadership of our own brother Fit, Messiah Fit. I call him Dr. Messiah Fit. He's on it, and so are the rest of you. So let's keep focusing in that way, because it's reflective of a positive ideology that is operationalized and is working. Yes. And it can work if we work at it.
Yes, sir. I wanted to go ahead.
Yes, sir, brother. And, I really want to say that all things, the spirit and the universe came together for us. Yes. We have to really look into what manifests. When we pick that day, June 8th, and 8th in the Asian science of numerology, which was found in Kemet, the number 8 represents a number of things. Number 1, as it is above, so it is below, right? The infinity. Okay. Number 2, it's money and power. So June the 8th, it was supposed it had rained that day, but the weather was so beautiful, Brother Patrick.
It was brilliant.
It couldn't have been more perfect.
No, it couldn't have.
And then all the stereotypes that they say about us as a people, we broke each one of them. We tore it apart. We ripped it to shreds. And so you had the elders and the youth there together. Yes. You had the males and the females there together. Yes. You had us working in harmony with discipline. As Brother Mosiah Fitz said, with looking uniform and everybody in likeness and oneness and spirit, right? Yes. And even when we encountered a negative spirit here or there, in most cases, we were able even to change those spirits. This is just God and the ancestors giving us just a little sampling of what we can do when we simply determine for ourselves that we're going to be the change we've been looking for. We can't wait for nobody else to come save our babies here in the city of Baltimore. We have to be that change, brother. And the UNI ACL division, we call it the Garvey Tubman X division.
That's the Baltimore division.
That's Tubman City.
Yes, sir.
Tubman City. We meet Thursdays right now at the Historic Arts Social Club, and at 7 p.m. And the organization of the UNIACL, brother, is 104 years old this year. There's some beautiful things going on, but the family should know that regardless of where you see yourself, if you're a Muslim, a Christian, an African traditionalist, if you're a Hebrew Israelite, we got a flag. We got one flag, the red, black, and green.
Yes, sir.
Right? That's why the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and the ancestors did what they did. See, the UNIA was meant to be the organization that regardless of whatever else we were already into, we could unify ourselves under the one major cause. We all black people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What did Zora Neale Hurston say? All my skin ain't my kin. Okay, and that's what we need to remember. You need to think about that when we judging one another. When we judging one another worse than we judge. There's so much we got to get into here. I'm pausing at this point to talk about the RGB, red, black, and green flag. On August the 17th in Harlem Park, there will be assembled 10,000 people as we come together to form the first human red, black, and green flag. On August the 17th at 11 a.m., the parade is going to start. It's going to be marching bands, going to be vendors there, going to be great speakers. Y'all pray for us. We're trying to get Colin Kaepernick to come and be our speaker. We want to get Mrs. Hughes to come and speak to us. And I'm talking to some of my other friends that are great that you might know, that we want to make this a day, and we're going to to also have our local leaders. Leo called them profiles in
community organizations.
And community organizations also to speak on that day. People like Kamos Mohammed, people that are doing things, not just these talkers, and all these people are saying who can't be in the Pan-African system. You know, Stephen Jobs on his deathbed said, why do we go along with decisions that we had no input in making? Now, people are going to look at me funny because tradition comes into question. But we see now the traditions do not they don't last. Look at the presidency of the United States, and you know that is the end of the word traditions. Everything must change, and anything that is not growing is dying. Brother Mosiah, you good?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Well, we thank you for all that you do and for the Scouts. But, we're going to do a show. We're talking about that. We're going to plan where we're going to have nothing but the community leaders in and profiles and community organizations. Thank you. Have a blessed day, man. Talk to you later. Peace. Brother Tyrone, welcome. You have a question or comment, sir? Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People.
Yes. I'm first start with, give a caveat. I own a business. So, I do believe that we should have our own businesses and we should buy black.
Yes.
However, most of my customers are white, just like the young man. Mm-hmm. But, I run a plumbing, heating, and cooling business. Mm-hmm. I do feel his pain when it comes to capitalism because, and I think Brother Leo cited some with the Rosewood and the
Black Wall Street, among others.
Mm-hmm. That's just how white excuses were advantage. If you notice that, do you know all the slave ships were packed so heavily?
Why?
There was something called the Headright Act. You got 100 acres of land just for coming here, free. 100 acres of land just for coming here. And for every slave or indentured servant you paid for, passage that you paid for, you got another 100 acres of land. That was called the Headright Act. You look this up. I'm not making this up. You got anywhere from 50 to 100 acres of land for every servant or slave you could bring here. Or if you just came here by yourself, you would get 100 acres of land from the British Empire. Now, if you're a British subject. Now, the other thing was the Homestead Act of 1962. And we're talking about generational wealth. The Homestead Act of 1962, you just simply went west and you got 50 to 100 acres of land. So that's where we got the idea of 40 acres and a mule, which we were denied. At the same time, they were giving free land to white settlers that were immigrants. Okay, we had generations of black people that fought in wars, couldn't get free land after slavery. All they wanted was 40 acres and a mule. They couldn't even get that. So, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm just laying this out. And then, if you fast forward to today's era, you had things like redlining that was underwritten by the federal government. They're the ones that came up with redlining on their maps, where you couldn't move to certain neighborhoods up to the 60s in the suburbs and things of that nature, where the housing values were much higher. You were deliberately not given loans to live in the suburbs up until around the 60s by the FHA.
That's right.
Because they had red line maps.
Yeah.
And in certain areas of Baltimore you couldn't live in.
And then after they finally let us in there, they redlined it so they wouldn't give us loans to fix the property up.
Absolutely.
Man, the history is just unbelievable.
Absolutely. So you can see here where the whites were given a middle class advantage of becoming middle class, where we were left and stuck in poverty.
Yes.
And a lot of that wealth is generational.
Yes, it is. Well, thank you, which is why I'm mad at Obama, because nobody went to jail behind that subprime thing. All them white boys and them bankers on Wall Street, not one of them went to jail, and came to find out why. They gave him so much money for election, he promised them that he would not send them to jail.
Some of them are cabinet officials now.
Well, they with Trump. So
and Patrick, we still see that type of discrimination even today in the business environment currently. You just recently Ice Cube wanted to buy 22 regional sports networks from Disney, part of a $71.3 billion deal with Fox, and he was actually blocked in that acquisition. He was actually blocked in that purchase, and he brought a conglomerate of black professionals and black wealth to purchase the station. So there was no reason why he couldn't, other than the fact that Disney just didn't want a black conglomerate to own a sports network. a competing sports network.
They need to do like my daddy did down there in Texas. He had an upholstery business, and he knew if he put a picture of himself in that Yellow Pages directory, that he wasn't nobody white was gonna call him. He wanted everybody's business, so he put no picture, and he named his company Mr. Fine. And when he called the phone, he'd act like an old Jewish man. Mr. Fine here. I'm not diminishing that or putting that down. He did it for 20 years, and 90% of his business came from Highland Park, which was the richest section of Dallas. And he said, people call him and he say, Mr. Fine here. Oh, well, I got a sofa I'd like for you. He say, okay, I'll send my boy out to see it. He go get in his truck, go out there and look at it, and bring the sofa back with him. He did it for years. Sometimes we have to use wisdom because these people ain't going to give us nothing. But look what they did with Cosby. He had no bad reputation at the time, but they will block you. But I never will forget I was talking to
they blocked him with CBS.
They did, but they tried to, but when Miss Hughes, when they went corporate and when they went on the stock exchange, she and Alfred, the one thing, I ain't putting her business out there, but the one thing she knew to do was to keep 51% control over her corporation. So nobody would ever be able to determine that they couldn't run it the way they wanted to do it. We got to be smart. People always they say, Patrick, you've been successful in business. You know why? Because I was trying to be nice to them, and I knew if I was going to be nice, they was going to try to work me over. So what I do, I went and hired me a Jewish lawyer. He was the bad guy. So I got the best deals that I could possibly get, and I'm still living off of the royalties that I made from those good deals. We must use common sense. We must be wise. We must not think we can do it all ourselves.
On that point, Brother Patrick, there's two things I'd like to say. One, we've had to do whatever we've had to do to survive.
Yes.
I remember when I first got into business, and I've been in business almost 28 years now as a full-fledged entrepreneur in different veins. But I remember it being said among us as black business people, put a white person in front of your business, right? In other words, put a white face on it. Mm-hmm. And I understand that, that's something maybe that we have had to do
as a decoy,
to stay in the game, if you will. But today is a new day.
Hopefully.
Amen. Today is a new day. Freedom Paper Company from 2011 when we just started. That's our 8th year as well, brother. To this year, 2019, our 8th year. We came out the box telling everybody we black owned and we black manufactured. And so when you look up black bathroom tissue or toilet paper, now we don't sell toilet paper, bro. We sell bathroom tissue.
Oh, see, Mosai, I hope you listening. He said it. He called it. He jumped all in my stuff because I called it toilet paper on Saturday. Now he just said it. So all right, keep going.
Yes, sir. But we came out the box, and so if you look us up, you Google us, we come up number one because we never not said that we were black.
But then
right?
are you getting the support that you need from the community?
It's okay. There's something, and I'm gonna go scriptural just in 2 points for you. I'm gonna go from the Quran.
Okay.
There's something called the uphill road. And the uphill road is a difficult path to take.
Yes.
But when you take it, it's the most blessed road. And so there have to be those who go before us to set examples and are willing to take the pains and the difficulties so that others will come along and do what needs to be done.
Yes.
And number two, scripturally, in the book of Daniel, right, there was a great statue. It was made of gold and silver at the top. But at the bottom of that statue was the miry clay and the dust. Well, that's us. See, the gold and the silver was on top of the miry clay. It was the miry clay was holding up the gold and the silver. That's us holding up the rich. Once we determine that no longer is the case, and we are the ones who have the power, and we know that, then the rich now fall.
Remember that word miry. It comes from the word mire, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
That means that's that hard clay that ain't can't get out of it. Manny, I'm coming right to you. Manny, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Do you have a question or comment, sir?
Yeah, I have a comment. I like the show you got today.
Thank you, sir.
We as black people know that success is a journey, not a destination.
Yes.
We have to keep going beyond our destination to reach our journey to become successful.
Yes, sir.
But we are not limited due to our ability. We are limited due to opportunity. Jackie Robinson, who was the first black Major League Baseball player, who once said, "Give me the opportunity to play this game, and I'll show you how this game should be played." But as long as that racism tree still exists, we will be limited. the only way that we can not be limited is to remove that racism trait. They removed the bark. But like you said earlier, I have a buddy up in New York. He has his own clothing business, man. He puts a Korean in his store to be in charge because they think it's a Korean store. I had one buddy, he did black art and sold black paintings, you know. He has black people working for him. But that's what they do. They set you up for failure every time.
Interesting.
Man.
Thank you. Well, I know Brother McCarmos, he's going to look at, but you know what? You got to do what you got. What my mama always told me. She said, baby, you might not get it the way you want it, but you keep on coming. Eventually, you'll do it the way you want to do. Thank you so much, Manny. I appreciate that call.
Brother Patrick, we got two. I'm sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is our time.
Yes.
Who sold black entertainment television? Who sold BET?
Johnson did.
The first fruits of the African harvest are upon us. The man who created the Kwanzaa or Kawaida doctrine, Dr. Malana Ron Karenga, is a native of the Eastern Shore of Maryland. I'm saying all these things have come, the confluence that's there. The UNIA has always been there, a long time. Now is our time to prosecute self-determination and all the things embodied in the ideology of Kwanzaa, and we can make it work if we're courageous, if we're unafraid, and if we're willing to die in defense of our right to be free.
Yes.
Now is the time, lest we be destroyed.
Absolutely. You said something. You gave a quote the other day by Marcus Garvey about the person who is, they must be willing to, in other words, when they're in a situation, they must know what they're getting into. They can't have fear.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
We cannot be afraid of consequences.
Right.
I can't remember the exact quote right now that the Honorable Marcus Mosiah gave, but we can't be afraid of the consequences if, in fact, we desire to be free and truly liberated, as my brother just said. You know, we have the examples. We have the examples of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and UNIA building a just imagine this for a second. I just want people to understand the power that we can gain.
Amen.
The Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey at one point was able to give 2.5, listen what I said, give $2.5 million to the country of Liberia in 1920. Now, in today's money, that's close to, I think it's something like $30 million. Is there a black organization today that could give $30 million for anything?
Yeah, I know a few.
Well, that we control.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
That we're not getting
that guy that just
from.
paid off all of that.
Well, he's a businessman.
Kathy Hughes could do it.
Now, I'm talking,
there's lots of people.
Black organizations, though.
Organizations.
Black organizations, right? So we have the example of the Honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey and what he was able to do. We have the example of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, another economic program that showed the capacity and capability of ourselves. But look at the example. It's what the Dr. Amos Wilson calls ethnocultural power. Ethnocultural power. We must look into ourselves. We should expect Disney to block deals from us. We should expect, because they know if we gain this power, what it's going to do. If they're not going to, Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing but what? Power. They're not giving us. Nobody gives you
if
power.
You want it, you gotta
take power if you want power. So
yes.
we have to build it in and among ourselves. I want to invite all the businesses in Baltimore to assist this youth entrepreneurship program. We have products you use in your business.
Yes, sir.
We just asking you to spend your dollars black. Don't go anywhere else if you can get it from us. And yes, we are competitive. We're competitively priced. But let me ask you this. Even if we weren't, and we were blessing our children and helping them, if we were taking them off the streets, if we can create new realities for our people here in the city of Baltimore, you spent 5 cents more for your product, is it worth it?
Yes, sir. But tell us about the program you're planning for the summer that's going to do exactly that. I heard you and Messiah talking about it this morning.
Well,
you want to share that
we
now?
got big visions, brother.
Okay.
We have right now about 8 young people. We're going after more. We want 300 by the end of summer.
Okay.
We want to employ 300 young people by the end of summer. And when I say say young people, I'm talking about ages as young as 14 with parental permission, of course, all the way up to 30, whatever, right?
I heard that.
We unemployed. Our youth are 50, by statistic, are roughly about 60% unemployed overall in the United States. Imagine now if we can begin to employ our youth.
Yes.
See, we can stop crime. A lot of crime is driven, we know, statistically by economics, right?
Yes.
Say it
so
again.
if we
Say it
begin
again.
to do these things that need to be done, we can eliminate them very seriously. So this summer we're going to do that. We're building a full-fledged enterprise that those 5 categories of products will be able to serve the entire community of Baltimore City and beyond.
Yes.
With these things, and build a whole enterprise that the world will begin to see and applaud.
I'm telling you, Black power.
Black
Yes, when
power.
those young people, when you laid that money out
Right
on that
on.
table, and what I loved about it,
Right
the
on.
top salesman.
That's right.
The top salesman, he brought him up front.
Yes.
Right
And he
on.
bonded and talked about what he did to do more than everybody else did. There were 2 of them that
Yes.
I don't know if they got a little
They
more
worked
money.
hard.
They worked hard. But when he laid out that money, you should have seen the looks on those children's face. And these are kids. I don't think anybody's over 13 years old.
15. One is 15.
One is 15, and
Yes.
we have one girl in the pack. She didn't come this weekend, but it's open to it's coeducational.
That's right. Absolutely.
It's boys and girls, and this is a wonderful opportunity. And you all listen, y'all, you need to come here. You know where you go get the 411 on Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. And right now we want the 411 from Brother Carlos. How are you, Carlos?
Oh, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Very well.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Great program. Yeah, I'm just thinking that we should ask that man that got that University of Alabama sent his $26 million back that he donated to them. that we should ask him to help us out here in Baltimore, since the University of Alabama didn't want it. Somebody else would want it in our colleges and universities and so forth. But I want to just go to one solution. And I think that this is one that would work within the state if the state politicians would grab hold of it. In the state of New Jersey and in a large portion of the state of New York, at these service stations, the gas stations, you cannot pump your own gas. They have a tremendous amount of young people working through the corporations such as Wawa and the big corporations who do the gas pumping. Now, wouldn't it be a wonderful idea if we had a state law that says that you cannot pump your own gas, but you have to have an employee do it for you? Wouldn't that open up an avenue for the young people, those above 16, who could get their work card
and pass the insurance that's going to be needed? Yes.
Yeah, and but you have to get the corporations to buy in, and the state has to mandate such a program.
Brother Carlos, is it possible to negotiate with some stations, with some gas stations, some individual owners, to make what you're talking about a reality? It sounds great, but I'm not sure we're limited by the law necessarily. We just have to ensure that we have the right relationships built with owners of businesses, individually and otherwise, that we can place youngsters in positions where they can make money. And I guess you've got to work out the liabilities, if there be any, and so forth. Is it possible to do it that way as well?
Somewhat, but under the state law, you have certain rules and regulations that you must follow. You train the young people and what have you. You make sure that there's safety precautions that they know how to obey and adhere to. And I just advise you to go up the Jersey when you go up the Jersey Turnpike, and you stop at any of those service centers up there, Sunoco or what have you, you will not see anybody pumping their own gas. It is all done by employed individuals from young on ages on up.
We can Google that. Thank you so much, Carlos. And we would appreciate that. And you know what? Then this is the way we got a congressional black caucus. See, we need
Patrick.
Yes.
It's not the Congressional Black Caucus
to even bring up the idea.
This would have to go through the Maryland General Assembly.
Right, but who would introduce it?
What's that?
Who would introduce it?
That's going to be your problem. Who would introduce it here in the state, and will the state buy? And will I'm going to call it like I see it, the not only the
Legislative Black Caucus?
Legislative Black Caucus,
yeah.
The Baltimore City delegation particularly, will they buy into it?
Well, try it. I mean, you got to put it before them, because folks won't do anything that you don't challenge them to do. And I thank God for the ministry of Brother Kamos Muhammad here in the Freedom Paper Company, because he's talking about a direction.
Oh, I know that.
For everybody that we need to follow, because we haven't had that positive leadership en masse for our youth, empowering our youth economically in the way that he's speaking of.
He didn't stop at just the youth. He said up to 30 years old. And if an old man coming in, he can move. I'm sure he'll be out.
Well, but we need self-determination.
And let us not forget that politics follows economics.
Yeah.
All right.
Politics follows economics. The reason we aren't successful politically is because we don't have no money. We're not, or at least we're not utilizing our money intelligently.
Talk your
in the
talk.
sense
Right
that
on.
we're producing the type of power that would move the political machine. There's no way in the world, and there was another word that came to my mind, but I can't say it on the air, but there's no way in the world
Maybe you can.
that we in a city that is 60% black can have no power. How is that even possible?
But we have black leaders too.
But we have black leaders. So that means that we have to now determine who gets to lead and be in power as a politician. And the way that you do that is by amassing the political, the economic wealth and educating the people. That's why we got a political education class on Thursday nights, right? So that we can become knowledgeable about ourselves and about our environment and how we need to work in it. And then by doing that, that's black power. We can change reality.
Yes, every Thursday at 7 p.m. Every Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Arc Social Club. Somebody asked what the Arc Social Club is. Google it. Google it. God bless you. Listen, we're going to keep moving here with Charles Johnson. Thank you, Delicia, Casey, Pack. Thank you. She's going. Oh wow. Brandon Walker is watching. I mean, it's just over 14 people are watching now. But remember that many of you will share this, and the more you share it, the more people will hear about it. But I especially want you all to tune in. We'd love to have you come to the Arc Social Club, because we then get to hear you and you get to voice your opinion. But it's going to be on Facebook, so we'll see you there. But I tell you what, nothing will shake this city up more than people coming together and understanding that we are not just about black kin, we are about black skin. And when they realize with 60% of the population, they are outnumbered.
Brother Patrick, can I just tell the people where they can contact us?
Yes.
School is almost out.
Yes.
School is almost out. Now, if we can get the masses to come by to really step up, right? Again, I've asked the question, brother, since we've been in business. Who doesn't use bathroom tissue? I have never met anyone yet who raised their hand and say they don't use it.
I'm glad of that.
But I understand. You might not like our bathroom tissue, right? Because there's thousands on the market, so everybody doesn't like the same. But we got paper towels. We got trash can liners. See, we have all of the. Matter of fact, we got black manufactured toothpaste, mouthwash, deodorants. We got laundry detergent coming, fabric softener. Black owned.
Wow, black owned. And I'm I'm fitting the order. I tell you, because
black power.
I spent $30 for a pack of Charmin. Well, I don't use Charmin. I use the Sam's warehouse stuff, but that ain't nothing but the stuff that them old Koch brothers own. They just doing it. Yo, I know it is, but it's the best. And then, down that area, I don't want nothing that's gonna be sticking on me. But God bless each and every one of y'all.
Samson and Delilah.
Yeah. It's 12:30. It's Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. Don't you touch that dial.
I couldn't help that.
You come too far from where you started. So please.
Talk in the day. Soul at night on the new 1010 WOLB.
Here's an announcement for anyone who wants health insurance, even if you missed the deadline. That's right. Don't worry if you missed the deadline for open enrollment. Right now, you can get the health insurance you and your family need. The Health Advisor toll-free helpline has been extended to help anyone who wants health insurance coverage now, or anyone who just needs a better plan or a lower price. Did you miss the Obamacare deadline? Have a baby, get married, or get dropped from your plan? Don't worry. Plans are available now, and in just minutes, we'll help you find the right plan that's best for you and your budget. Call the Health Advisor helpline right now at 800-260-8567. The call is 100% free and the help is real. You can finally get health insurance that's right for you, even if you have pre-existing conditions or no insurance at all. But hurry and get covered before it's too late. Call 800-260-8567 to find the best plan at the lowest price. Call 800-260-8567. That's 800-260-8567. 800-260-8567.
Look, you know the idea of buying a home can sound overwhelming, but even if you're not ready, it's important to get ready. And by joining Hands-Free Home USA and by joining Hands-Free-USA, you don't have to do it alone. Thousands of people have been taking advantage of these types of opportunities. So why not you? Space is limited, and so is $42,500 in free money. Baltimore, on Saturday, June 22nd, it's time to step into your power. Don't miss this life-changing event. It's free to attend, but you must register in order to get a seat. Reserve your free seat now by visiting homefreeusa.org/power or call toll-free to 833-OWN-BMORE. That's toll-free 833-OWN-BMOR. The first 50 people to register will also get tickets to meet with speaker, author, and entrepreneur Stedman Graham before the event. So log on to homefreeusa.org/power or call toll-free 833-OWN-BMOR.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore.
The views and opinions of the guest and host you hear on 1010 WOLB
are not necessarily those of the staff and management of Radio 1, its sponsors, or advertisers.
It's done unto you as you believe.
Welcome back. We don't have a whole bunch of time. 410-481-1010. 410-481-1010. And the people are commenting here. Irene Williams says, we need to assign every young person a senior. I read a quote one time that says that a child without a mentor is like an explorer without a map. I agree with you 100%. Irene, and then you went on, you say so the seniors, so they can work for them or work with us for small jobs like cutting grass, snow removal, trash and food pickups. That's what we did. I used to go knock on people's doors with my lawnmower. You need your yard cut? Mm-hmm. We didn't have no snow down there in Texas, so we couldn't do that. But we always had grass to mow. So, but putting that into your children, and some people are going to argue about entrepreneurship. One of our most honored professors has some issues with black entrepreneurship, which we find a bit shocking, and I'm going to get him in here so we can talk about him because I respect him so much. But in the meantime, we got Cliff from Connecticut. Hi, Cliff. How are you?
I switch gears a little bit.
Yes, go ahead.
I want to talk about the Netflix series. I don't know if you talked about that at all.
No, we can't do that today, but we are going to talk about it. Which one? The one about the...
Have you seen it at all?
No, I just got my Netflix thing last night. Now, don't rush me now. I'm going to have it all for you next. Which one are you talking about?
Spoiler alert.
Yes, which one are you talking about in particular?
Well, but there's only one. There's only one Netflix series, man, that's pertinent to us as a black people, and that's been happening in New York, the Central Park 5.
Yes, sir.
Take a look at that, bro.
Yeah, I am going to do it. I'm going to do it this evening. Thank you so much. But
and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it. Call me next Monday, okay? All right, thank you. He's right. Y'all go get that and watch that because, boy, I tell you, the heads are rolling because of that film. What's going on? Okay. Lots going on in the city. Understatement. That was Richard, of course.
What's happening in the city?
Jason,
Bad Richard.
Yeah, let's start with that clip right quick, and we'll go from there.
There's a crime walk in the city.
Yeah, hold on. Don't touch that down.
Gun Awareness Day, and it's all over the country. And I think it's very important that neighbors come out and community come out so they can understand how violence really affects families throughout the city. You know, gun violence is something that has been plaguing this city for the last 10 years. And, you know, the murder rate in this city and the non-fatal shootings in this city have increased. I'm not happy with it, and neither should the citizens of Baltimore. So having people out here together to get the message out that gun violence is unnecessary, we can find other means to settle our disputes. You know, there's mediation. If they want to really settle them, we can have them down at the Civic Center, put a boxing ring up, and let them go and box it out. Those kind of things, you know, and the best man win, and the beef should be over. Those are some kind of things that I'm thinking about and hoping that we can get these people to put these guns down. But it's very important. We got the churches involved, and you know, once you have the church involved, because the churches are really the anchors of some of our communities, and if they can come out as much as they can to get on these corners and try to help get some of those folks to understand that violence is not the answer.
Listen, first of all, I want to thank our new mayor because at least he's trying. But can you imagine somebody getting in the ring and the one to get beat, forgetting that he'd gotten beaten and everybody had watched him get beat up? Can you imagine the revenge of it would be catastrophic? But I'm gonna give him credit for trying.
Yeah, he's done.
But we thought of a thing: guns down. What did we say?
Put your dukes up. Put the guns and knives down.
And in other words, duke it out like we used to do as kids. But taking someone's life is
I
just
understand
ridiculous.
what the mayor is trying to say, but when we ring the bell for involvement, we've got to talk about not just conflict resolution per se, but July the 1st through August the 7th is the 4-5 week period when the Youth Works program is in operation. This is ridiculous. Expand that program 6 months, a year-round program if you're really serious. The mayor has control of the rainy day fund. They have millions of dollars in the rainy day fund.
You told me it's more than over $100 million?
Well, I thought it was 100 million.
I thought it was $22 million.
Well, no, it's more than that.
No, that's the budget surplus.
Oh,
the $22 million.
No, the rainy day fund is on the order of $100 million.
Yeah.
In that $100 million. And I'm saying with all that money, the rainy day fund is for crises that face the city. There's no bigger crisis at this time that we face than crime and violence. And that's rooted in the fact that we're still the heroin capital of the world. And as a consequence, economics, which we've talked about on this show today, is the driving engine behind the gun violence. I'm saying expand the program in its totality. Youth Works, that's the mayor's office of employment development, fully funded, not for a 5 week period, but year round. Even if you only do it once this year, you got the money, he's got the power, he's got the control. Walking a crime walk is a great photo opportunity to see the mayor walking with community leaders and the police commissioner and da-da-da-da-da-da. It's not substantive enough. We got to have substance. Follow through, and we've got to have initiatives that empower our youth economically. And what we've said today is on the money.
Yes, it is.
Brother Muhammad. This is the kind of thing I want to hear.
I want to say, you know, we just getting started. But this program we have is a well thought out program.
Yes.
We're going to teach, and Brother Patrick, you bore witness as we were giving a little bit of the education, the theory.
Yes.
Yesterday when we finished with the young men, we gave them some theory of economics, some theory of entrepreneurship, right? So this is a full-fledged program. If the mayor in this city has a fund, you know, $250,000, $250,000 to a program like ours, I guarantee you we would make a tremendous difference.
Oh man, but this gonna be hard to get.
Tyrone Bose said this morning on radio earlier and we know who Tyrone is.
The dollar houses.
The dollar houses. He brought into play the importance of training the youth, the 13, 14, 15-year-old youth in rehabbing houses or with the right certifications, job training and apprenticeship programs, tying it into this huge stock of abandoned housing that we have here and throughout the nation, ongoing. And I'm contending that the powers that be the political structure doesn't want to find an answer because the answers are readily apparent that we can do what we need to do to uplift our children entrepreneurially in ways that will ensure that we can survive. And they're not addressing that. We're doing a lot of window dressing, and that's got to stop.
And well, hold on for a minute. Now, let me get this in because I'm getting old and I'm forget stuff. Now, I want y'all to remember, 3 years ago, we hired a bunch of those kids from Youth Works. Some of them were rude. Some of them had no manners, didn't know where they were, didn't understand what they were supposed to have been doing. I would like to suggest, and Mayor and anybody down in City Hall, to let us come in and do etiquette training for 2 days.
That's all part of
for
it.
these
That's
kids.
right.
You've got to train them and teach them how they're in a different place. They're not in their house. They're not on their block.
The work ethic.
Mannerism and ethic.
Exactly, because we used to get a job in the summer and they would hire us for the rest of the year. That don't happen because the kids, we can't blame them. Nobody's taught them.
Right.
Nobody teach. The church don't teach them.
We had a program Friday night. It was called the Young Achievers Program
at New Psalmist.
At New Psalmist, that brought in a bunch of kids and taught them etiquette. Taught them how to eat at a formal dinner or how to eat in a restaurant.
Even how to set a table.
How to set the table. They dressed them in tuxedos, showed them how to do a waltz. And then filmed it all so that parents and the community could actually see.
They taught them waltz. They didn't teach them how to what they call it when they didn't teach them how to twerk. They didn't teach them how to twerk.
No twerking.
No twerking zone.
No twerking.
Bobby, welcome to Patrick. Oh, I'm sorry, Richard.
That's Bubby. That's Bubby.
Yeah,
Richard. And again,
Bubby.
Patrick, these ideas make sense. But this idea that Mayor Young has is just a gladiatorial idea. You know, this is fighting wrong with wrong. You know what I mean? And this is not an Umar boxing moment. Umar boxing teaches discipline, teaches professionalism.
Right. Books first.
And there's proper discipline and proper training.
But
this is just a gladiatorial match.
But the mayor says he wants to save Harbor Place economically because it's in receivership. That's his priority.
Well, he wants to tear it down.
He wants to tear it down and spend some money on the youth.
Yes, I agree with that. Richard, did you have something to say? Richard?
Yeah.
What did you have to say?
Okay.
Come quickly.
Several things. One, there are 14,000 children who have applied for summer jobs, but they only have the money for 8,300 if I remember correctly.
Outrageous.
Two, when you look at this entire thing, everybody's giving the mayor his kudos, and we've been talking about violence and everything else under the sun all morning long. However, the mayor was sitting there when he was president of the city council, was sitting there when the city council voted on creating an entity that's supposed to have been studying this for over a year and a half, yet they have done, the Harlequins of Holiday Street have done absolutely nothing, and nobody in the city knows anything about it.
But he was not the mayor.
And
that's what I'm going to argue. He was not the mayor.
When they put it in, so now he's suddenly forgotten it?
Well,
he wasn't empowered.
You charge him with malfeasance after he gives you an opportunity to do so. Yeah. And that's the problem is now he's the mayor and he can do it.
Now you can't even do that.
Wow. Well, all right, we're going to go. Bubby, you have a question or comment, sir? Come quickly. We're running out of time. The lines are locked up.
Yes, sir. Thank you much for taking my call. Let me just say I get really offended when people try to be apologetic for man now, Jack Young, not knowing what's going on. Let me give you case in point. I informed Jack Young, then council president, about the horrors that was going on at the Baltimore City Housing Authority myself. I recently called him to inform him about some more malfeasance that was going on at the Housing Authority. He has not yet returned my call. But I think you do a disservice to people when you say he does not know what is going on. Let's go to this premise, what is idiotic. You think that you're going to take a bunch of men or young men and let them fight in the ring. One of them get their brains beat out. What do you think that one's going through after the fight?
Revenge.
He's going to retaliate.
Retribution.
Like what we having with all the problems going on now with retaliation.
Yes, sir.
Especially in West Baltimore. When you talk about the young man, Gerald Brown, that was murdered, do you know Gerald Brown Sr. and I played Little League baseball together, and we've been close friends for almost 45 years. So when we hear these people keep on trying to apologize for politicians, who created the policies that created the policing that lead to the practices and the policies that continue to oppress our people, then you think we stupid by saying Jack Young does not know? If you go over East Baltimore, look at the investment that's going on over East Baltimore.
Listen, Bubby, thank you. I'm sorry you called, so a lady kept calling the wrong number, kept calling my home phone thinking he was calling the radio station. But everything you said, I 100% agree with.
Amen.
We've got a great young man on the phone. Carlton Douglas, come with it. How are you today, sir?
Hey, Patrick, great show as usual.
Hey, Carlton, how you doing?
Carlton.
Leo, you hit it on the. You just hit it. If you got a rainy day fund, this ain't no rainy day. This is a tsunami.
You're damn right.
This is a tsunami. So now you got to go in the tsunami fund to make sure these kids got jobs for the summer and open these rec centers back up.
Yes,
because even if they get off the job, they need somewhere to go. Even when the jobs are over, they need somewhere to go.
That's
Off
right.
the street, absolutely.
Year round.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Everybody
Thank you
agrees,
so much.
Carlton.
And this ridiculous thing about boxing, that ain't gonna do no goddamn work in nowadays. You fight now, lose. They go home, get the gun, and come back and get you.
That's what they go do.
They go home
Y'all
and
can
get
hear
their
him
guns.
every Friday
Yeah.
on what's the name of this? Frank Conaway.
Frank Conaway show
with Sister Nzinga and Dwight Pettit. I'm telling you, it's a great show. You don't want to miss it. It comes on, I believe, after Larry on Friday
At 10 a.m.
At
on
10
Friday,
a.m.
10 to 12.
Janet, welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People. You have a question or comment?
Hi, good morning. I agree that this walk is not going to do any good because where they're going to walk is like a block away from the inner harbor. And I don't know if they're setting themselves up to put more money down there again.
Yes.
Or exactly what they're trying to do. But I agree. Stop making excuses to Jack Young. He's been in there too long, and whether he had the power to change things or not, his mouth was still working. He could have told us what was going on. He could have said something about it and open everybody's eyes to the manipulation that they kept doing, putting money in certain places and not putting money in other places. I had this stupid man from the MTA tell me, well, you know that bus 13 is the busiest line in the city.
What line?
I said, I guess
Number
it is.
13.
It goes from central West Baltimore to central East Baltimore, two of the poorest areas in the city. Why are you surprised so many people riding the bus? These people are crazy.
Yes, they are.
Absolutely crazy.
Thanks, Janet.
But they aren't riding the bus that much in other areas.
Right, because they got cars.
Right. Yep.
Mark C., are you there? Mark?
Yeah, I'm right here, man. How y'all doing,
Real
man?
well.
I've been listening. Right on the head, but especially Leo. And I feel that brother that called just now, his passion, not only has he had two sons murdered,
yes,
they
Bubby.
talk about you got to help the community, got to help and all that. Well, let me say this before I say anything. The community's not under the consent decree. The community didn't take a knee. The community didn't have no murderous gun trace task force. That's number one. Community leaders, I came through there Saturday going to a play in D.C. that our son was in. I seen brother Messiah and them out there.
Yeah.
And I was in the room with Jack Young when he was meeting with the grassroots, and the lady she was so mad. She said, I'm so tired of having these meetings and none of us get any money. You know what he said? He said this, I hate this job. You know, he said, I hate it because of the scrutiny. When he was city council, he didn't have no scrutiny. He could do what he wants with the $24 million. We still got money. $22 million surplus. That brother right there talking to y'all, $250,000. Brother Tyrone got the answer to the housing and all that kind of stuff, man. So we ain't taking up for him.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Officers, I had Colonel, y'all know, yesterday, you know Patrick.
Oh, your show?
Russell. He not only was his community relations, 40 years, working with the community, working with gang leaders and all that kind of stuff, not only was his position eliminated, Patrick, but they wanted him to take a rank cut
That's the normal, Mark. That's the norm. That's their normal
Mark.
methodology.
It is. Well, I think that the new commissioner is just getting his house in order, and he wants people that he no. I wish he would clean out the whole damn department personally and start for anew.
I think his head is above water. He just ain't drowned yet.
Who is that? The commissioner?
Yes, sir.
You think his head is above water? You think he's going to drown?
He's treading water awfully hard right now.
He's under attack by the FOP.
Oh, the FOP is going to be
he's always going to be under attack with them.
Yeah, well, that's about the union, isn't it?
Yeah, and I told him that was his biggest obstacle he was going to have was going to be the police union.
Diane, you have a question or comment?
Yes, how y'all doing? Good afternoon.
How you doing, Diane?
Patrick, I love your show. This is good.
Thank you.
To speak about the youth and everything, when I was in high school, we had counselors in school, and you went to your counselor about jobs and stuff. They eliminated all of that in 2000, and people must be honest, and it was under Mayor O'Malley. All that stuff was eliminated in school instead of the parents fighting back for their children to make sure that they had these. And then you have some children come from homes where parents have never worked. Grandma and granddad and great they did, but the children didn't because of the drug epidemic. They were on drugs and stuff. So the children don't have work ethics, and we learned all of that in school. They cut all of that stuff out, like home economics and
wood shop, electric shop.
Stuff like
Wait a minute, I just read today there is such a deficit of electricians.
And
good paying. I mean, hundreds of thousands of jobs. They can't find electricians, plumbers.
Yeah.
These jobs, but they took it out of school. Why did they take it out of school?
It's not just. You know what, Patrick? It's just only in Baltimore City because the counties have it. But remember, me and you was talking last week, Patrick. I said CDL.
Yes.
The CDL, they got prices. They need drivers. CDL licensed drivers.
Yes, they need them real bad. Christopher Irving is helping with that.
So all of this, I know that they listen and stuff, but you got the CEO and that school board that are held against everything that people come to them and let them know things, but they don't want to listen to us, and then they don't want to have community meetings.
Relevant
with the communities, and I think that's unfair.
We need to elect our
Thank
school
the
board.
teachers union for a lot of that.
Yeah, well, we got a new president. That new president stick. Did they let us stay in there?
I don't know.
They get ready to do a recount because they were on another show on another station, and they was talking about. She's asking for a recount and stuff like that.
The old, the
Marietta English.
So you talk about the police union. Look at the school union.
Yeah, I agree with you.
We have it coming from every side, and I think somebody said it well. Watch as well as pray, but get up and do something.
That was me. God bless you.
Relevant programs were taken out of the schools by design. It's called genocide.
Not only
the
that,
systematic extermination of a people. That's by
they
design.
did the same thing to BCCC too. BCCC had a great vocational academic curriculum, but when they took down the Harbor campus, that took that program straight
and they
out
never
of it.
re-implemented it.
I took printing, typesetting, typing, and wood shop.
Yeah, man. Listen.
All those things.
Let me
I
get
didn't go there.
Let me get my last call, and then we got to talk our way out of
Those were
here.
useful things.
Yes, absolutely. Eric, you have a question or comment? Welcome to Patrick Henderson's Meet the People.
Comment. Let me just add, I took wood shop too.
Yeah, come on.
Girls at home ec.
That's right.
I did too.
Mechanical drawing.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I love home ec. Cooking.
I tell the brothers all the time, and I tell everybody, what is the biggest problem that America have right now that they can't find? They can't come to an agreement on. The Republicans and the Democrats need to come together and they need to pass a bill for it. You see it every day. Infrastructure.
Yeah. Well, Obama had it on the desk for 3 years, and the Republicans wouldn't do nothing about it. He tried. I'll give him that
Infrastructure is not going to happen. We have infrastructure week every week in this administration.
Whenever Trump needs a distraction.
Yes.
And so here's what I'm telling you guys, because I work in the utility sector, right? I work on gas lines. Man, the whole system, when we in the ground and we see the water and we see the electric, we see all of it need to be upgraded. I mean, we doing the best that we can do to fix whatever problems that's initially there. But in our field, it's over 250,000 people in this area from, you'll say from Delaware to Virginia. It's 250,000 people short.
Wow.
Within doing
that's a third of our population. that don't have
Right.
jobs, but they don't have the training. Problem is that most of them can't read. Thank you, bless you, my brother. Really appreciate that thought. I want to tell you one more thing. The reason they took the shops out of the schools, because we was building a strong black middle class.
Well, of course.
So
That's
they said,
right.
"Oh no,
That's
we got to
right.
cut them off." So then we
That's
had them at
exactly
the post
right.
office. Then they tried to mess with the post. Understand that there is a planned genocide.
Yes, it
It
is.
is planned, systemic, and it is in play.
And let me go one more. You can go through middle school and high school and never take a history course.
Which is unbelievable.
Okay. How does that make you feel?
I want to give a shout out to University of Maryland. I know they're under a lot of strain right now because they just asked for a raise and the governor ain't feeling it, and some of the people are wondering why. But as many of you know, I have been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and they caught it early, and I am using a different system for treatment. They're not going to cut me. They're not going to do anything invasive. It is called proton therapy, and University of Maryland has the best program in the city to do it. They saved my life before in the year 2000, so I trust them. So I want to shout out because not only do I know that they're listening, but I'm trying to get them to come into the Radio 1 family and do public service announcements to let our black men know that prostate cancer is the #1 killer of black men, but it is a disease that you do not have to die from. It is curable, and it is curable without them cutting all your guts out to do it. So I would like to thank them for what they're doing, and y'all pray for me, and y'all pray for them for their hands when they put that laser on me, and everybody that comes in there. And if you know anybody that haven't had their PSA done, when they get their blood test done, have their doctors to check their PSA to see if their prostates are enlarged or if there's some activity down there. Men don't like to go because they're scared because they got to go near the rectum, and you know how black men are about that. Go get your woman doctor. I don't care who do it. Go get it checked, because if the back side ain't working, the front side ain't gonna work no more. Okay, you got that clear.
You're gonna get letters.
Yeah, I hope I do.
Protect the rectum.
All right, we got 3 minutes
Brother
left.
Patrick,
Yes, sir. Brother Muhammad.
You know, this has been a fabulous show, but I want to kind of, summarize a lot of the things that have been said. I heard a lot. We got to remember, brothers and sisters, that we are a nation within a nation.
Yes.
I heard a lot about what they're doing to us, and we keep hearing the things that have taken place, and we act as though we're surprised, though. Why would we be surprised that they would take opportunity away from us? Remember, we talked about capitalism. Well, capitalism needs something to feed off of. It needs a lower class. It needs a poor people in order for it to survive. It needs that. So we have the responsibility. We grown folks. We have the responsibility to change our minds and change our actions and do something different. If the system that we're living in is not working for us in accord with us, then we need to create our own system. We're a nation within a nation. I want to Good Hill Park program. I want to come back hopefully and talk about some of these institutions that we have that should be supporting the youth. Because again, we don't have to, if the way that we make other people do is when people get involved.
Yes,
so if we can get the churches and the mosque and everybody involved in just doing some basic things, we can change reality overnight.
Oh, absolutely. And those are the announcements you wanted to make?
www.freedompapercompany.com. Because every time you buy, we're supporting ourselves. www.freedompapercompany, all spelled out, .com, 443-542-5845. 443-542-5845.
You can have order your house products. I almost said toilet, your bath tissue. And from him and all papers you need.
Black owned, black manufactured.
And I love that Freedom Paper. See, that's a play on the word. Freedom Paper. Come, don't get me started. Leo, come quickly, your announcement.
Monday night, the 17th of June, 7 p.m., 3301 Windsor Avenue at Hilton Street, St. Cecilia Church Hall. Attend the Roots of Scouting meeting. We're a Pan-African organization dedicated to the uplift of our children, family, and community.
Yes, James.
Have a great week, everybody.
Okay, listen, this coming Friday at 4 p.m. at Liberty Elementary School, I am giving with my students what could be my last recital with my children there at Liberty. So I would like for you all to come out and just see my babies and see what they have done. This Friday at 4 p.m. Please come and join us. We'd love to see you there. Well, God bless. Richard, love you. Thank you so much for your time. And Jason. All right.
Love y'all,
God
family.
bless y'all. See you next Monday. Bye.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM HD3 Baltimore. Brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel.
Blue Star medicated ointment works fast to relieve the pain and itch of almost any skin irritation.
It's amazing. It's like as soon as you put it on, you can feel it working.
We've had Blue Star in the family for years. It works on everything.
I love the cooling sensation on my athlete's foot.
What a relief for my eczema.
Nothing worked on my dry, cracked skin until I tried Blue Star.
Blue Star is great for scalp itch.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
Even in my own home, I had my own designated space to smoke. If I think about it, it really was like I was punishing myself. A friend of mine said, why wouldn't you just try the Juul? And so I went out and I bought one. The idea of going back to smoking, I couldn't even imagine doing that. I don't think anyone, including myself, thought that I could switch.
Carolyn made the switch October 2016. Make the switch at JUUL.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
It's our last errand today, Jimmy. Just need to pick up some light bulbs.
Whoa, there's so many. Did Grandma tell you which ones to buy?
No, but check out the label on this package. It'll help us find the right bulbs.
Does it really matter?
Well, sure. The new light bulbs use a lot less energy, so we save money on our electric bill by using an energy-saving incandescent, CFL, or LED.
How about this bulb?
Let's see. We need to replace the 60-watt bulbs in our bedside lamps. That one is 800 lumens, so it should do the trick.
I've never heard of lumens.
WOLB Baltimore and WERQ FM.